Will the members of the past District 3 Leaders Committee please come forward? John Griffith, Cynthia Herford, Michael Holian, Jeff Maroon, and Peter Salazar. Come on up. Okay, gang, we've got some important business to do here. Members of District 3, Policy 7.2 of the Toastmasters International Governing Documents provides additional clarity regarding past district leaders. Past leaders provide district support while working under the direction of the district director by promoting focus on the district mission, acting as an advisor or mentor, encouraging district leaders, helping during district meetings, encouraging leadership participation, and chairing district committees. Past leaders may not interfere in district affairs, disrupt district meetings. You read it any way you want. Disrupt district meetings, nor actively support traditions that do not achieve the district mission. A past district leaders committee, when present, supports the district and its leaders, may not engage in district political activity, and works under the direction. Gotta watch her all the time. On tasks assigned by the district director. Past district leaders. Is there any candidate for membership to the past district leaders committee to present tonight?
You mean like a qualified candidate?
Yeah.
Possibly one more. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Are we ready? I think we're ready. We're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Works for me.
Yeah, he's got a cool name.
Okay. We present immediate past district director D. Hawk for membership. Will the nominated leader please come forward and take a seat? Slide down, slide down. And now the fun begins. For 365 days. Yeah, 365 days. We've had the opportunity to observe the performance of our immediate past district director, D. Hop, in leading District 3's ability to achieve the district mission of building new clubs and supporting all clubs in achieving excellence. As D. Hop transitions to the role of immediate past district director, his service continues first and foremost by ensuring the incoming district director receives all pertinent district documents prior to June 30th. First test.
Hand off.
Karen,
Hand off.
has D. Hop fulfilled this responsibility?
Hand off. That's a tough one. I think everything but the keys. I think they have almost everything.
Oh, it's close enough for government work. Okay. D. Hop, have you been made aware of your continued service commitment for the 2022-2023 Toastmasters year?
Holy told me something about it earlier.
Okay. All right. David, as a member of the past district leaders committee, will you always conduct yourself in a professional manner and adhere to the Toastmasters International core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence? And there's a reason it's in that order. Will you agree to abide by the principles outlined in a Toastmasters promise? Remember that one? Okay. Take personal responsibility for your conduct individually and as a leader of our district. Okay. Focus on the missions of Toastmasters and not on individual disagreements. Say I will.
I will.
Loud enough for them to hear.
I will.
Thank you. Okay.
I will.
Thank you. Members of the Past District Leaders Committee.
Do we have a quorum?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, we will. Okay.
Start casting back.
Yeah. Well, she's listening in. And so is Jim Davis. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Jim. I can't see you from where I'm standing, but you're new. I know you're there.
They're both waving.
You're waiting.
Discussion.
Uh-oh.
Members of the Past District Leaders Committee, as experienced district leaders, will you agree to share your knowledge and experience with our immediate past leader, helping him to establish his personal service legacy within District 3 and Toastmasters International? Say, I will.
I will.
Okay, I will too. Hey, guess what? D-Hop! You're hereby inducted into the Past District Leaders Committee. Woo-hoo! Welcome aboard!
Has anyone seen David Hopper? Anyone? I'm sorry. I mean, D-Hop. Everyone, please stand and help me welcome the immediate past district director, David Hopper. All right. Can you guys lead me in a clap? Steve, Karen, clap. Clap, 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 clap. All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. David, last year when I was sitting here in your position, I was sitting right there, very nervous, wondering what sick things you guys were going to say about me. And overall, it was pretty cool. It was pretty nice. Nothing really bad happened. That's not going to happen this year, David. No. This year, we're going to start off rated G. We're going to go up to PG-13, PG-21, 23, R. Some people have X-rated stuff in there. That's not my responsibility, David. I'm just here to introduce them. A lot of you don't know this, but I met David when we first somehow ended up on the trio together. I had seen him around before. The presentation mode? Full presentation mode. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, who is this guy? I've seen him around a lot at TLIs and other stuff like that, but I didn't know who he was. And we got to talking, and overall, I thought this was a cool guy. So tonight, we are going to honor a great past district leader. What? Oops, sorry. Prince? Was I even considered for this, Prince? Not that guy. Can you hit next? No? I was in range earlier. There we go. A great leader who commands respect. Unlike this thing. There we go. A great leader who commands respect. Can we use mine? When I first met David, we got to talking, and he told me about himself. He's like, I work at the U of A, and I said, boo. And then he said, I joined Toastmasters because I needed help with public speaking, but I found out they have one of the best leadership training programs out there. And I was like, hey, I feel the same way. We're going to get along very well. And as we were getting to know each other, I got to learn more about him, about the clubs, the work he does, and everything. And I was like, David, I respect you. You're a stand-up guy. We're going to do a lot of good together. And if the PowerPoint ever comes on, I can get through to my next point. But he was telling me that, he lives in Tucson and what he does at the U of A. And I was like, cool. So back to what Jim Davis was talking about. All of these. There we go. That was from Jim Davis' slide. If you want to see what David looks like when he drives his Charger, here he is. When we first got to, next slide. When we first got to district leadership training, I was real excited. And we rehearsed this in public and private. But when it came time to present in person, and I looked back at the video, I noticed David, next slide, was sleeping on me. Just think, not cool, David. Not cool. It's not cool to fall asleep, especially your first time up there. You're very nervous. Your hands are shaking, and David is sound asleep. So, not cool, David. I can't respect you for that, but I am going to bring up someone up here who will respect you a lot. Please help me welcome David's public relations manager, Nancy Duckett.
Thank you, Peter. Next slide, I think. The man behind the curtain, the wizard. Since I've known David, he always seems to get things done, especially on the technical front, the website. As a marketer by profession, I have a lot of ideas, but I don't always know how to execute them, especially when they're online. So I just push buttons like the ant in the Sinatra song, High Hopes. For those of that era, oops, there goes another rubber tree plant. I digress. But the man behind the curtain has made it possible to execute ideas on communications magically like a wizard. I really got to know David when he joined the trio as club growth director. I became the club extension chair. I didn't know what I had gotten myself into. But David had a plan. With his knowledge, guiding hand, lots of collaboration with phone calls and email messages, team got it done. We chartered 11 clubs, which caught the attention of our Region 3 advisor at the time, and she came to town to find out what was District 3's secret. Well, it was communicating, talking to each other, sharing ideas, but it was a team effort. I got to know David best this past year when he was district director and I was PRM, public relations manager. We had regular text, email, and phone exchanges generally at 3:30 p.m. was driving home from work. That's where we puzzled through issues, exchanged ideas, and generated plans. Hence, the calls often continued right into his driveway. And Christy knew it must have been Nancy on the phone again. Notice the theme here? Making a connection, listening, exchanging ideas, collaboration, while being responsive. But David, do you ever give your phone a rest? Sometimes I barely send. There's a response. We rely so much on technology today. This technically challenged boomer really appreciates the magic you create with your skills. The man behind the curtain, and what fuels this wizard is Dr. Pepper. Thank you for a great year, David Hopper, Mr. District Director 2021-22.
While Tony's setting up, I just wanted to let you guys know that we had a stand out for. All we needed was Christy to shave her head, and I can make a few comments about G.I. Jane. You can come up, and, you know, he wasn't going to hit me. But this is how I pictured it going. If Christy would have only been a team player. So since Christy's not a team player, I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to give the mic to Tony, who's going to be nice.
My special ode to D3 2021-22 Director David Hopper. Pathways go sideways like whiskers on kittens. David Hopper, our icon, wears Toastmaster mittens. COVID held hostage our clubs tied with string. Zoom saved our meetings with amazing new things. Cream-colored masks and crisp-covered faces. Who'd guess we'd lose members in all lazy places? TLI went wide on Zoom for hundreds of folk, mostly with faces that tried not to sulk. District 3 led by our tenacious top dog Hopper. If he had more hair, it would probably be copper. His drive and kindness helped us prevail and gladly sing. These are a few of our miraculous things. When a club folds, when the donuts mold, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember our Toastmaster things, and then I don't feel so sad. Best wishes and appreciation to the extraordinary 2021-22 District 3 Director David Hopper. With all my love, admiration, and thanks, I'm not worried. Here's your favorite drink, and don't get too drunk too fast, okay? And then here's some things for you and Christy to have some fun this next year. Woohoo! Okay, they're just 2 games. They're pretty. It's do you know me now? Do you know me? And the real one, it's the Geek List, a Geekalicious listing challenge game. There you go. All right. All right.
Thank you, Tony. I think I know how he did it. It must be the luck of the Irish. Christy. Now, we've all suspected that you've been the woman behind the man, but we also wish that you would address David a lot more. Whenever you weren't around, we got this. Something funny about this picture right here. In 2019, why does it do twice? In 2019, we went to Denver, Colorado, and we got to be in the World Championship of Public Speaking. Right after the World Championships, we were fortunate enough to be the first in line to greet the new world champion. And I was wearing a suit. Jim had just done doing dishes or something. He came in all black. David, because Christy was not around, comes in, his shirt untucked, I don't know what happened to his tie. But since we were first, this was on a magazine. Not this picture exactly, but a version of this picture was in a magazine. So next time, please dress him. David, I think we moved out of the G-rated section of the show tonight. Now help me welcome someone else who always had her voice in your ear for Toastmaster stuff. Shelly Gabriel.
Thank you. I'm in election because eating popcorn gets a little salty, right? How many of you have ever called David on his cell phone? Raise your hand. How many have received from him that says, sorry, I can't talk right now. Please text. Usually when I call him, I'm on break or I'm at lunch at work. I'm like, David, do you take a lunch at work? He goes, no. I said, what do you mean no? Why don't you take a lunch? I don't want to take a lunch. I'm like, how do you not take a lunch from work? Right? So then I find out. I call him later. He's still at work, of course. And he says, sorry, please text. I'm going, I can't text you. I'm driving. I'm not supposed to text you when we're driving. It's against the law. So what do? I take Siri. Hey, Siri, send a message to David Hopper. Sorry, I can't text. I'm driving right now. I'll call you later. It's funny. When I chair things, lots of conversations with those that I chair. I called him more than Christy does. And there's a problem with that because I call, he answers. When she calls, he doesn't answer. All in all, though, it's been a pleasure to work with you, my friend. This year, last year, and every year you've been in the trio. I appreciate you, and thank you for letting me chair this event for you, and also be your CNO chair this year. Thank you. Love you.
Are you going to drink all those Dr. Peppers? We'll see. Holding 2 Dr. Peppers in her hand for some reason. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Connie Weiss.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of meeting the Hoppers at their first conference in 2016. And Christy and I became fast friends. Her personality was very bubbly. And then David, it's like the warm ginger ale I was drinking. Christy and I were just chatting away, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw people leaving the table. I thought, what's going on? And I look, and it was just Christy, David, and myself. What's happening? Christy got up to excuse herself to use the restroom. Well, she was taking a long time. So it was my job to chat David up. I soon found out that he was a man of one-word answers. How you doing? Fine. What club do you belong to? Pen and Podium? Desperately, I'm trying to think, how can I engage him? Oh, I heard you work for UOA. Are you a Wildcat fan? Then I saw the gleam in his eye. And he said, yes, I am. Wow, a 4-word sentence. We're moving on. We're making improvement. Then he grabs his phone, goes like that, and I said,
goes, statistically, the probability that the Wildcats will beat ASU this year is very high. The standard deviation. And my eyes started to glaze over, and I'm thinking, darn, where is Christy? And what do you mean, we? Because I don't think he played football. He's not going to be on the team this year. So I excused myself, and I saw Christy in the bathroom. And she's crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? Connie, I can't take it. Why? I have PSD. And I went, what? Oh, I'm so sorry. And she goes, no, it's not what you think. It's post-traumatic. David, I joined Toastmasters because of the awkward silence. It reminded me of our second day trapped in the car with him for 4 hours going to the Renaissance Festival. I started doing the ums and the ahs and the fillers. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to have a good time. I just wanted to talk to somebody. We'll get through it, Christy. Come on, dinner's being served. I go and I turn around to talk to her, and she's vanished. Would it be rude if I don't go back to the table? I don't want postmaster stress. I don't want, oh my gosh, I'm starting to ums and ahs and oh, it's already, I'm infected. So I happen to see Shelly. Shelly, come sit with me. She lasted about a minute. Okay. Oh, this hotel chicken is so good, isn't it? I was running out of things to say. Yep, chicken's good. Okay, back to 1, 2, 3 words answers. Then I saw Trish Blackwell walking, and I grabbed her arm desperately. I said, Trish, help me out. And she goes, well, you can come to the bar, drink, you can gamble, or visit the raffle room. To this day, my husband wonders why that compass was the most expensive. Now, my husband is a very understanding man. He let me work weekends to pay off the debt. I am a little guilty, though. My kids aren't going to go to college. It is what it is. Then I heard that a hopper was running for district leadership. Christy, oh my gosh, you're going to be so... What? David? Oh my gosh, we're in trouble. What are we going to do? Again, I turn to my mentor, and she says, okay, you're going to have to join Toastmasters, Showtime, and become a lifetime member and enter district service yourself, just to get away from him. If he's on a committee or a chair, go somewhere else. Oh, okay, that's great. And Peter said he doesn't remember how he met David. Well, it was another conference, and I had the misfortune of seeing David at a table, and there was one chair left. I paid Peter to sit, and I want my money back. As he rose up, through the district, I did everything to avoid being with him. Then he calls me up, and I knew I shouldn't answer, but a moment of weakness. Yes, David. And he said, will you be my... Yes, just anything I agreed to, so I didn't have to listen to him. I didn't want to hear about the statistical probability, the standard deviation. Now, he had the donuts with the director. I want you to know he personally selected each donut that he brought that day. This man loves his donuts. Now, he'll never be a social butterfly, but I do want to award him this ribbon, Most Improved. Thank you for your leadership. It's been a pleasure. And please, lose my number. Peter.
Are you wearing flip-flops? All right, he's getting comfortable for this. Now, I don't know what Connie was talking about, because every time I seen David in a room, he commands respect. He stands there and everybody just looks to him for leadership. This is a natural born leader when there's cake. Or donuts. But sometimes leaders can be intimidating. And introducing our next speaker, who's thoroughly intimidated by David for some reason, Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Edwin Weston.
David. I remember the first time I was introduced to you when you called me and asked me to be your DCP chair. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Just like everybody else in this room, getting a conversation out of David is like pulling teeth. You'll get one-word answers, or you'll get, well, let me get back to you, maybe or an email. And then when you get the email, it is so technical, you have to be a brain surgeon to figure it out. One time, I asked David a question, and I'm sitting there waiting for the answer. David has this look on his face. Did I get across to David? I don't know. All I knew, I had this look on my face, and I felt I was in a psychiatrist's chair, talking to my therapist. Like, are you okay? What is your problem, son? How can I help you? And I'm sitting there explaining my heart out, trying to get David to understand what I'm trying to say. But I get this look on his face. And I'm like saying to myself, am I getting through to you? David, did I get through to you? Oh, okay. Just checking. But through the time I worked with David for the 3 years, even with the trio, I must say it was my honor and my pleasure to work for you, work with you, and you was a great district director. And other two titles you had also. And as a token for everybody else, you are now Dr. D-Hop. Peter.
You still think you're going to finish them? All right. Let's keep it going. Now, as you know, David is a stand-up guy, right? He is not the kind of leader that would run away from any issues. He's the type of leader that would, well, I can explain this. See, this was about 5 minutes after you voted him in as district director. And your year as district director is very busy. You'll see. You get no sleep, no time with your family, especially with your spouse. So Jim had just told him the number of times he had intimate relations with his spouse. And so did I, our years as district directors. So David started running out like Rocky Balboa, Christy! Hey. And he was talking about some pills, some blue pills. I don't know what happened, but 6 minutes later, Christy comes by. Her hair's a mess. He's like, Peter, can I bum a smoke from you? And by the way, don't bother David. He's very, very tired. I don't know what happened, but I do know that he got an award out of it, some kind of award that Christy presented to him that night. So again, don't know what happened, but speaking of little blue pills, please help me welcome our next presenter, your current club growth director, distinguished Toastmaster Steve Feld.
Is it because I'm going to keep them up? We've all heard what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This didn't happen in Vegas, did it, David? Oh, no. First time I met David Hopper, I was thinking the same thing each and every one of you did the first time you met him. This guy is a party animal, and I got to get to know him. I don't know anything about Toastmasters, but this guy, I need to get to know him. And he goes, hey, you like, do I like coffee? I'm like, I'm in. Where are we going? He goes, come on down to Tucson and I'll get you coffee. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I'm driving down there. I pull up to his house. Next thing I know, I see him hopping out of one of the windows of this house. And I'm thinking, did this guy just burglar this house? And next thing I know, he's running towards me like after a toddler learns how to walk and now he's learning how to run. Like, and I'm thinking, what the hell? And he gets in the car and he goes, hit it, go, go, go. Folks, I've seen enough movies. When someone does that, what do? You hit the gas. So I go, I'm like freaking out. What the heck? And he's like, did you just rob that house? He goes, no, I had to sneak out. Didn't tell my wife. I'm like, what kind of coffee are we going to get? And he goes, I know this place in Tijuana. And I'm like, Tijuana? He goes, I promise you, it's the best coffee you've ever had. I'm like, well, I love a good cup of coffee. Tijuana? All right, let's go, because you are a party guy. We get there. He knows exactly where to go. Turn left, turn right, park here. I was shocked. I think he's been here before. He takes us to a coffee shop. I'm going to say it like that because I have a different viewpoint of a coffee shop. In my opinion, this more looked like Tijuana strip club. And he goes, I go, what the heck, David? This is a coffee shop? He goes, best coffee in North America. And they have great family entertainment. All right, I'm game. We walk in. He raises his arms like this. It was like cheers. Everyone goes, Rope Bunny! And I'm like, what the heck? Why wasn't it Norm, D-Hop? Well, I Googled that, and I'm going to save you all now. Do not Google that. So we get in there. We go to the bar, and he goes, 2 and a 6-pack. I'm like, oh, my God, this guy really does know how to party. No, it was 2 Diet Dr. Peppers with a shot of tequila on the side. And the 6-pack was 6 donuts. My expectations of you went dramatically down, but here we are in this family entertainment establishment. So I ordered coffee. Folks, in all David's defense, hands down, one of the best damn cups of coffee I've ever had in my life. So I'm like, what's this family entertainment about? Peter asked me, don't go there. I described it to him, and I heard him on Zoom literally go, then what? All I can say is I wish I can erase this memory from my brain. It has scarred me. It involved women and equine, and that's all I'm going to say. And it was, David, you are one sick little guy. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase it. David, you are one sick guy. While we're there having our coffee, next thing you know, gunshots come out. I'm like, what the heck? Policia, policia, they're raiding the place. David tells me, it's okay, I got your back. He goes, follow me, I know where to go. So we sneak out with the other bovine out the back door. We finally find the car, and we're driving through the streets of Tijuana. He is now in the driver's seat. How many of you have ever ridden in a car with him? Folks, your life in his hands. That's all I could say. We get back up into Tucson. I'm amazed. And who's out on the front porch? Christy. And I said in his defense, he took me, and we had the best damn cup of coffee ever. David has always been there. I've worked with him for a few years now. And when he says he has your back, he has your back. If he says he's going to get something to you, it's going to get to you. He's always been there. David, it's been a pleasure. I know we're going to still continue working together, and I'll still get harassed by you. And don't ever take me to one of your coffee shops ever again. Sorry.
Is that a robe, or are you a... I thought he was Batman. Batman. Next. Next slide. Anyway, he's Batman. He's always been Batman to us, but every now and then we need to see what's behind the cowl. And that would be Bruce Wayne. And as we were talking earlier, Christy wears the pants in the family, right? That's why she's dressed as Wonder Woman, I assume. She's a puppet master. Everything that you've ever seen David do, Christy was pulling the strings behind. To this guy. Next slide. And next slide. And I was asked, David, how do you get Christy to do so many things for you? She's on every committee that he's ever managed, right? Christy was running the show. And eventually I found, because it's against district bylaws to pay a Toastmaster to do something, but I found out how he got around it. He created his own form of currency called David dollars. Now, don't be fooled by David dollars. David dollars are basically useless. They are only used in the Hopper household and only for stuff like back massages and foot rubs and anything else that Christy doesn't want to do. They issue David dollars. So, very smart, David, on how you get Christy to be on all your committees, even though we know the truth, who's running the show. And what Steve forgot to tell you is that she was waiting out there with her slippers off and started throwing them at David as soon as they got home. Now, speaking of somebody else who's really aggressive with David, please help me welcome your current district director, distinguished Toastmaster, Karen Hewitt.
I'm in shock. Everyone here is telling me you don't get conversation from David. And I'm thinking, as I'm listening to this, well, when I was your club growth assistant, you didn't talk to me for the first 3 months, and then the floodgates opened and we've talked. And now I've known you for so long. And as Peter said, when you become a district director, it gets stressful. And the first month is panic stations. And of course, David was there. A sweet listening ear as I'm panicking and telling everything that's going wrong and how can I fix this? David, I don't know. How do you do it? I'm a sadomasochist. That is quite literally what he said to us. And then it all made sense. Everything over the last 4 years fell into place. We've been on Zoom. What's the common thing that we have to tell someone when they're on Zoom? No, David, it's put your shirt. I think there's been 3 occasions where you've turned up topless on Zoom and gone, oh, I didn't realize the camera was on. There's a little light that tells you it's on. That's a good indicator, just so you know for future reference. Not only that, there was this one time, and he did the biggest faux pas ever. Christy, help me out a little bit here. There's a little room in your house that has a big mirror, a circular shelf that has a shelf. It's a circular shelving system with a shelf and a couple of triangles, I think, under it with some white things on top of it. It was kind of a bronzy color. It's a couple of years ago. He takes himself off camera, still talking, and the next thing you know, I think he hit his camera button and he sat there in that room. It's the bathroom. I sent him a message. I know you wash your hands. But all jokes aside, David is one of the most honest and humble people you'll ever meet. And I think the reason people struggle to have a conversation with you is they don't understand your language. It's gifts. If you've ever been in a text message or a Facebook message with David, it's gifts. Everything is responded with a gift, and if you keep doing that, he'll talk to you for hours, and it's just pictures, and you have to read between the lines and figure it out. But it's okay. His other language is on Zoom, and it's, how many of these filters can I use? 1 minute he's a cow. Next minute he has a TV on his head. And then when we're talking about it, and Steve brings up the whole bunny incident, and David goes, I am a bunny. My name's Hopper. Well, with all this in mind, so much has happened. And you've always been there to listen, nod and smile. Although I think sometimes you're nodding and smiling because you're not really listening and you want us to think you are. And then it's, you go on mute and you can see you going. And I think it's, Christy, what did they say? You're a good guy who does many things and helps many people. And you've always been there to support us. But I'll tell you one thing that's happened this year, or in the last few years. We got Peter to be on video in his boxer shorts. We have David who went topless. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. I may be the first district director in the last couple of years that has an iota of modesty, and I think I'm going to keep with that. Thank you for everything you do, David.
I'm so glad I did not go to the equine show with Steve and David. I don't know what happened there, but just glad I didn't go. Sometimes when we're up here in front of the camera and we're reading fast, we say things wrong. Sometimes I say Stevie, sometimes I say Steven, Nancy, Nance. DJ stands for something. But there's some people whose names just rhyme with something that just shouldn't be said. So on that note, please help me welcome our next presenter, distinguished Toastmaster, Angel Lorena.
Oh, wow. I just realized David's there. Not used to seeing him with the shirt on. You might need this to sweeten the blow. When I joined Toastmasters and witnessed David becoming district director, I don't think I realized the type of organizational structure I was getting into. Started simply with put yourself out there more, get to know everyone, make sure everything's going good. We were in dire financial straits and David wanted us to make us better. His facade broke though. Anal Lorena. Not once, 3 times. It's funny though, because when he gave us our pet names, I had no idea we were going to be exposed. After starting our only Toastmasters account and telling us that we needed to start raising the funds, he even had Ryan emailing me with anal Lorena. Overall, though, grab your dollar bills, grab the cream pie, because it's time to have some fun. David was a great leader. We have truly done well in this district. We raised the funds, everyone. However, David, we don't need to keep the shirt off. Going forward, I'm hoping that Karen will return us to our previous state of modesty as the mistress of our district and keep our dealings just a little bit more discreet. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Angel. Before I bring up our final presenter, I want to say my words to David. These are nice words. As many of you know, 3 or 4 years ago, David, Jim, and I just popped up on the trio out of nowhere. I don't know what happened in this district. I don't know how we got the sympathy votes, but we created a new trio basically out of air. And when Jim and I first met David, we looked at each other and we're like, I don't know what's going on. Do you, Jim? He's like, I have no idea how I made it here. But we talked to David and we realized that David had done it right. He had filled every officer position in the club. He had been on every committee possible. He'd been an area director, a division director, and we were just so glad that he was a club growth director. We acknowledged that he was the smartest one in the trio, and we acknowledged that without him, we would have been probably spending funds in the wrong way, having donuts just to ourselves, and this would have been a disaster. But thanks to David, we had a great year that year. The pandemic hit us, but we together We stood together, and every decision, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, or bad, or we disagreed, we made it behind closed doors. And it was mostly because of David's knowledge and experience in the district. So everybody here made fun of David tonight, but everybody here also acknowledged his contribution to the district. I see that this is just a milestone for David. I see him following in Michael Holian's steps and doing more stuff outside the district. Because remember, David was shown a path, and he said, this is a great path. I want to do everything that I can in district leadership and Toastmasters leadership. And I think you will. I think you've served us well. And I think, heartfelt handshake. Thank you for being in the trio for so many years. And we look forward to supporting you in your future endeavors. Thank you, David. D-Hop has one more roaster, and I am not going to follow her because, it's the spouse. Please help me welcome the wife, the puppeteer, Chrissy Hopper.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. It is really great to see everyone here. And I have to say, Karen, it's really nice to hear you speak without kids screaming in the background. But I just have one question, David. Are you sure there aren't any more awards to give out? Not one? Well, then I want to know where my District Director Service Award is. After putting up with the never-ending Zoom meetings, texts in the middle of the night, and phone calls that interrupted date nights. And that's all just from Shelley. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Not to mention all the honey-do tasks that have gone undone for the last 3 years. Hey, David. I've saved them all up in my honey-do ledger. Here is the first volume of 10. Your work starts tomorrow, and you can wake me up for volume 2. I'll be taking a nap. And I know for a fact that it will all get done because you are the hardest working person I know. Seriously, he cannot relax if there's even one thing that has to be done. And David, I do know this is not the end of your journey in Toastmasters. You've come a very long way, but you still have a lot more ahead of you. And like always, I'll be there every step of the way cheering you on. And with that, I will turn it back over to David.
Now, this year's roast is a little different than most. I requested this last year, and I was denied. But David requested, and he gets his way. So now David is going to get an opportunity to roast everyone except me.
Hold on, Peter. Hold my popcorn. Thank you so much, Peter. I must say I'm surprised to see you here tonight. I mean, I think this is the first event I've seen you at all year long. Immediate past district director, I don't think means immediately change your name, immediately change your phone number, and immediately sell your house and move to some undisclosed location. Peter, where did you find this band of misfits? I mean, is this really the best that District 3 has to offer? I guess you get what you pay for, and Toastmasters pays nothing. At least most of you have day jobs, unlike Jim Davis. Jim Davis is a 4-time DBTM and the only person that can make odd counting an aerobic exercise. I was odd counter one time for Jim at a meeting, and I swear the clicker caught on fire. At least Jim does not intimidate any of our new members. Speaking of someone who is perhaps the least intimidating person on the planet, Nancy Duckett. Nancy would always call me for a short call. I would think if anyone would know what the definition of short is, it would be Nancy. I guess this doesn't apply to phone calls, however. At least, Nancy, when we have our phone calls, we would talk about a myriad of topics, unlike a long meeting with Edwin, where you're lucky to even cover one topic. Edwin's sense of urgency is that of a sloth on Valium. I've actually been practicing my impression of Edwin if his boot was on fire. My boot's on fire. I guess I better find some water and put that out. Edwin, you are perhaps the only person I would tell to drink more coffee. And how can we speak of coffee without speaking of Steve Feld? Until Steve, I never knew there were so many coffee memes online. I think Steve used to be an airplane pilot because he's had so many ups and downs. One meeting, he's super excited, and the next meeting, you have to check his pulse to see if he's awake. Steve, I'm not quite sure what you're putting in your special blend of coffee, but you might want to lay off. Speaking of roasting a special blend, Tony Leboff. Tony, I'm not sure if I'm the one who should be roasting you. I mean, you spent so much time in this year on the phone with Tim Daines from District Finance. I think he probably knows you better than you know yourself. Rumor that they're actually instituting a new caller ID system at TI this year, and they're nicknaming it the Tony. Someone else who could use a special nickname is Connie Weiss. For those that don't know, Connie was my facilities chair this year. Only one facility the entire year. It was our own church. A church that she didn't even have the keys to. She gave the excuse it was broken in the week before. After spending a half an hour in the sun outside, I wanted to break into the church myself. Connie, you might want to communicate a little bit better next time. Maybe someone should help. You should take some communication lessons from Shelley. Shelley is such a great communicator that she'll send you an email, wait 30 seconds, send you a text mail to tell you she sent you an email, smiling. And then call you to tell you to check your text messages. Shelley communicates so frequently that I changed her name on my phone to Cy. Because after she's called me for the third, fourth, fifth, I could go on counting, but we only have a limited amount of time. That would take 2 hours. It's the noise I make when she calls me. And who knows more about completing tasks than Angel with a G? Amit Ray, the author of Mindfulness Meditation for Corporate Leadership and Management, said, "Excellent comes when you balance quality and quantity." Angel, with all the tasks you are taking off of Karen this year, you're halfway to excellence. I would call Angel Karen's mini-me, but she's taller. So I think I'll call her a Mega Karen. Yeah, that seems to fit. Phone's stuck in my pocket. Siri, change Angel's name to Mega Karen. Don't you just love Siri? I mean, it's changed my life. Let me give you an example. Whenever I start a Zoom meeting, my phone asks me if I want to text DJ Reed. You may ask why. Well, because I started so many meetings this year, having to text DJ to make sure that she was on the meeting, that Siri picked up on a pattern. Communicating with DJ is like the monsoon. Sometimes it pours every day, followed by long, dry spells. I think this is because DJ is trying to do all the work herself, unlike Karen. Karen doesn't like to do any work. In fact, I am surprised you came up here and roasted me tonight and didn't make Angel do it for you. I mean, you make her do everything else. I am truly impressed that you made it through your entire roast without a plethora of profanities or yelling at your kids to be quiet, like all the trio videos I had to edit. Karen would send me 15 minutes videos with only 2 minutes of usable content. And Karen, as for the OnlyFans and having the shirt off, you had a body like this. Wouldn't you want to show it off? Christy is always trying to get me to put my shirt back on, saying things like, we have guests coming over. What can I say about my loving and perfect wife, Christy? It says, thank you for making me better. I have to go home with her, unlike the rest of you who will stay with them now that I've completed this roast. I do want to thank each and every one of you that came up here and everyone in the audience for supporting me in Toastmasters. It is your service and dedication that continues to inspire me, and I know others to be better leaders and better communicators. With you and your help, I've become more than I thought I could be. I've enjoyed being your district director, and Karen, DJ, and Steve, fortunately, you have not got rid of me yet, because now comes the best part of being district director, telling you where you've gone wrong. Peter, where's my popcorn?